Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining New Jersey Wedding Podcast. This podcast is the perfect podcast for couples planning their wedding in New Jersey. We are your hosts, Andrea Pertel and Celia Milton, and we are both full-time professional wedding officiants here in the state of New Jersey. And hey, Celia, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I made it through the eclipse without losing my retinas. So I'm feeling good today. How are you?
Good, good. That was kind of fun. It was surprisingly moving watching those
Yeah, it
clips. I'm
was.
going to admit to that. I feel kind of silly, but it was kind of moving. So anyhow, it was pretty cool.
It was cool.
And then today is a gorgeous day. I mean, it's going to get to 70 today, so I have
I
all
like
kinds of
it.
afternoon planting and gardening that I'm
Excellent.
thinking about, sneaking off and doing. So.
Cool. Cool. Now it's exciting today. We have Christine Dutcher of Sitting Pretty Intimates. She's the founder of this, and it's a singular store. Hoping more in the future for Christine. Christine says, we help women of every age, from 8 years old with their first bra to the oldest customer of 103 that are trying to find a new solution for them. Although we mostly, you'd say New Jersey, she has customers coming from all over the United States with dual residencies, and people love to introduce her store to other people, which I can completely understand because it's a little bit nerve-wracking. And when you find somebody that you're comfortable with, I think that's a wonderful thing. They do all kinds of services there, from bra fittings to swimwear to sleepwear and shapewear. What we're probably going to talk about the most is that shapewear for that infrastructure that you need for your wedding gown and your special occasion dresses.
Right.
So, Christine, take it away. Tell us more about you.
Hi, my name is Christine. I have been in the industry many years. I hate to say how long because it makes me feel
It's
old,
okay.
but over 30 years somehow, I kind of try to, you know, escape the industry and somehow or another it sucks me back in. I have the booby calling, I was told. Here I am, and yeah, I mean, we help women all day, every day, figure out solutions, and the bridal part of it is a huge part of our business. Um, and it's been wonderful to help women to build their trousseaus, which is a basically you have certain things that you need for building up to your wedding, and that also includes undergarments for your dress, new bras and underwear for your new life, and swimwear for your honeymoon, some lingerie pieces, and of course the peignoir set for the night of the honeymoon, the night of your wedding night. So we do a lot of things that are a beautiful store, and yes, we are completely full service.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of this as an extension of buying your bridal gown. That experience, choosing
Exactly.
your bridal gown. And then depending on your bridal gown, the undergarments you need, what type of bra you might need, what type of panties,
Exactly.
because what you can see, because one of my favorite parts of doing a wedding is showing up and seeing the bride's gown. And I just love every gown, and seeing them in their gown. And of course, on occasion, you see the gowns that I don't know, where you might see the bra strap constantly poking out, or you don't want to see the line of the underwear or whatever. So you need to go. I guess you get what comes first. You buy your bridal gown first, and then you go to
Yes.
Sitting Pretty Intimates. And and do they bring their gown with them? How does it work?
So, no, typically, I mean, we usually bridal gowns obviously usually have a lot of fabric, and they usually stay at the bridal stores because they need several fittings.
Okay, yeah.
But we
Mhm.
carry an array of different undergarments because dresses are different. Some are very low in the back, some are very low plunging, some are very like sheer where they can't see underwear, some are very body conscious. So we carry all kinds of undergarments, strapless all-in-ones, bustiers, strapless bras. We even actually carry there is a new panty girdle that's very slimming, and it's even low back. So,
Oh,
there's a lot of, and it's constant problem solving, which is nice. And at least brides know, and mother of the groom, mother of the bride,
oh,
their bridal parties also. We help them all out to figure out solutions for underneath their dresses. They want to
right.
look perfect on that day, rightfully so.
And
So
you
we
want to
help
feel
them to get there.
comfortable and confident.
Yes.
You've spent the money on the dress, whether you're the bride, the bridesmaid, the mothers, you've spent the money, you're doing the hair and makeup,
Oh yeah.
and you want to
Mhm.
feel comfortable and confident, and it's going to show in your pictures, and it's just makes the whole day. There's nothing worse than like having, feeling that discomfort and, all day, or pulling
Oh,
on something, or,
absolutely. It's
Well, I
true.
think,
We actually we also do a lot of like research, and we're very particular as to what we carry. So the
yeah,
solutions, a lot of times, just take panty girdles, for instance. A lot of times women feel like, oh, they're rolling down, and
right.
we have a lot of, there's reasons behind the, pieces that we select and carry in the store, so they don't do that, and you can feel very confident wearing them. It has a lot to do with, the size. So we're very knowledgeable,
Yeah.
and we have great garments that are going to last, and
Well,
take care of all of their needs.
that's the plus of being in business for 30 years. The
Yes.
experience and the
Well,
knowledge that you gain from being
y-
in the business that
in
long,
the
truly,
industry.
you can
Yes.
guide them
Our-
correctly. And talking about size, you guys, everyone, I love to see. Celia was talking about that, your Instagram. Um, by the way, we will be putting a link to Sitting Pretty Intimates, the website and the Instagram, on our social media site, New Jersey Wedding Podcast, so that you guys, the listeners, can easily click on there and see
Thank you.
Christine's store and stuff. But right, Celia, we were talking about her Instagram, and all different
all
sizes and
different
shapes and
ages and
ages.
sizes and colors, and
Oh
I love
yeah.
it. I think, I feel like it could be a terrifying thing for
Hmm.
women to approach
Oh,
this. I think that
definitely.
the whole process is, and to think that you really got an ally, because there's, I think that was great. I mean, and I think the pictures of the store that, we're going to post some of those. It's very sweet and comforting. It's not like going into a department store with the fluorescent light and like everybody looks terrible there. And I think
Yes.
it's nice. It seems very, very comforting. I like that.
Well, thank you. And I just want to be clear, our store is actually, we're on our third year. So although I've been in the industry for
Mm,
many, many, many years on different, parts of the
mm,
business, our store is actually, we're on our third year, and we've been doing great. We won a lot of different awards,
Yeah.
in our industry. Best of Essex, we've won, gold medals for best women's fashion. So we are growing, we're innovative, we're doing new things, we're working with, like I said, a lot of different brides. We do private appointments. It is very comforting to your point. As soon as women walk in the door, and when you read Google reviews, that's exactly what people say, and that's exactly what we strive for, so
that's
that they
excellent.
feel comfortable, because it is a very intimate thing, and we want to make sure, and it's literally, we want to make every woman feel their best. We want to make them feel the best version of them. I don't Whatever size they are, whatever, you know they feel uncomfortable about, we just try to reassure them. And I always tell customers, this is kind of our thing: when you look good, we look good. When you're,
Right.
in your wedding dress and you look amazing, it's, due to the undergarments and, the dress and all of the whole thing. So
Yeah.
we always tell people, when you look good, we look good.
What is an
And
appointment like for the bride? Does the bride and the moms, or the bridesmaids, do they make an appointment? Is it a private appointment? Somebody is there to help them, and they say, okay,
Yes.
here's your trousseau. This is what
Yes.
comes with it. Your new beginning undergarments, your honeymoon, your wedding night. The dress undergarments, and somebody's assigned to you. How does it work? Is it
So it's interesting, and I'm glad that you did say that. So right from our website, you can make appointments, and If you want a very private appointment when the store is not open, which is a very peaceful and wonderful experience, we come early to open up the store. Those are like between 9 and 11-ish. We actually open up the store at 10. So if you want an exclusive private appointment, you would get an appointment at like 9 or 9:30.
Mhm.
Or it's also a little quieter towards the end of the day, typically. During the middle of the day, we have a lot of walk-in traffic, which is still, I mean, we're staffed properly, and we got to make sure that everybody feels good and comfortable. But if you want a private appointment, that is definitely possible. And we do encourage appointments because it is a better experience. We're very service oriented. So we want you to have the best possible experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too. Like I know when I get galleys from my photographers, there's always the getting ready pictures. There's always the
Yes.
Yes.
pajamas and actually one of my bigger fancier venues posted a whole photo shoot with 4 or 5 brides on their fabulous bridal staircase in their
Yeah.
getting ready robes. And it
Yes.
got like
Yes.
a million comments. It's like, wow, and you don't, I mean, I guess probably you do think, I mean, I wouldn't think about that, but the photographer
Very
is gonna
popular.
very popular for the girls to have something to wear and for her to have something pretty to wear. And, with that
Yep.
picture of looking at the dress hanging in the window, you need to be wearing something nice. You know?
Exactly, exactly. And
Right.
they do variations of it. Sometimes the bride will wear like one color, and then her bridal party will wear different color robes,
Yeah.
and a lot of times the mother of the bride, the mother of the groom, everybody is kind of involved in that process, which is really a beautiful thing. And you're right, it's another set of beautiful pictures for the bride and groom.
Do
Right.
you offer, this is an interesting question. Do you offer a registry service for brides?
Our stock is pretty, we turn it over pretty quick. So it is kind of hard to do that. However, we do have replenishment things. We do have things that are more basics in the store. So
Mhm.
for that reason, we don't offer that at the moment.
Okay.
I don't think that it's not that kind of a store that we would really need to do that. However, if
Gotcha.
somebody wants to buy a gift, we could definitely work with the mother of the groom or the mother of the bride to
Mhm.
figure out how they can be surprised with a certain like peignoir set or anything, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that this is something that, sometimes brides might not think about until they're shopping for the dress or afterwards that make room in your budget for this,
Mhm.
because it's so important to
Yes.
have these garments. And there are some things nowadays that are very popular, um, and that it's important to have the right garments. Like you said, the robes, you might gift, like the robes to your bridesmaids
Mhm.
for the photos.
Exactly.
There's
Yep.
boudoir, if I'm saying it, photos. I see a lot of brides doing those
Oh, that's right.
photos beforehand. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing, but needless to say, it is a popular thing to do the
Very.
pre-wedding, those boudoir photos. And you think about the honeymoon, having the right clothes and the um, bathing suits and all of that for your honeymoon. People, the younger, not to sound old myself, but people post a lot on social
Mhm.
media, and I think it's kind of important to the brides to have all of these beautiful things,
Oh yeah.
for their posting, for their
Yeah.
content creation,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. It's funny because we do work with a few photographers actually that do boudoir shots. So, um, that is, and obviously they'd come and get lingerie, and they could make it as sexy as they really want it. It doesn't have to be, but it's very empowering to do those,
Mhm.
I guess
those
so.
boudoir shots as well. Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you partnered with some of those photographers because I
Yes.
have to say that everybody, and I don't usually talk underwear with my clients. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I could, but
It's very
every one of
uplifting.
one of by the way, um but the women that I've known who have done the boudoir shots, again, all different sizes, ages,
Yes.
it's not model perfect, the, typical model perfect, but just all kinds of women, they inevitably come away feeling empowered and happy and delighted
Yes.
that they did it.
Yeah.
Yes, you're exactly right. And you're right, it has a lot to do with, them feeling good in whatever they
Mhm.
choose in terms of lingerie. Most of them obviously probably being with their partner for a good amount of time. I'm sure they articulate what, they'd like to see their partner in. But it's
Mhm.
lingerie has to feel very comfortable. Um, and obviously, you want to feel sexy. So it's nice to make sure that, it fits well and all of those things. So,
Let me ask you how long, so you said, um, is this something when the brides are come to you, right?
mm,
Do they get it right away? Is there an ordering period? It's in stock, or do you have to, how long in advance do they need to make this appointment?
no, well,
It's
in
in
terms
stock?
of, I mean, I, before their wedding, is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
How
yes.
much
If
in
they need
advance?
this all before their wedding and their honeymoon, do they walk out of the store with their purchases, or is it something they
Sure.
have to plan in ahead, you know?
No, most of the time, I mean, we are pretty full stock store. In
Okay.
fact, we are not a huge store. However, we do have plenty of inventory. In fact, I love the fact when women have to come in, trying to stay within their budget and have to leave some things behind, because I know that obviously, there's something for them to come back to. You come back for, they
Mhm.
never feel like there wasn't enough things in that store that I could have
Okay.
purchased. So I prefer that. But most of the, yeah, they can definitely walk out with a lot of different lingerie. And it's interesting too. There's a lot of the moms are involved in the process with
Uh-huh.
building the boudoir shots.
Mm.
I'm sorry, building the trousseau.
Yeah, that would be
Um,
weird, I think.
yeah, well, yeah, no, they're definitely involved a lot of times, building the trousseau, and a lot of times they do want to do that for their daughters. And sometimes, mother of the grooms are close enough where they do it too, or a best
Yeah.
friend, or the maid of honor, oh, a best
Yeah.
friend does it sometimes.
Right.
So it's nice to do it with someone. So everybody
Right, right.
can
It's
like to
always
shop
more fun
together, which
to
is nice. Yeah.
to have the shopping partner with you and to talk about it. I love the trousseau. My favorite part is there's the obvious ones, the dress undergarments, the wedding night, the honeymoon. But I didn't think of this, and I love that part of it is the new beginning undergarments. Absolutely, the
Right.
new bras, new panties. I think that's great. I want to tell our listeners that it is sittingprettyintimates.com. There will be a link on all of our social media sites and of course on Spotify and Apple, so that you can just click on it and go right to her website and Instagram and contact Christine for an appointment for your bridal trousseau. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
We
you so
really
much,
appreciate it.
Christine.
I thought it was very
Thank
informative.
you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
All
Thank
right.
you. Have a great day.
All right.
You too. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So that was Christine with Sitting Pretty Intimates. And I thought that that was very interesting and very important for brides to know about, getting getting your undergarments or your whole outfits
Yeah.
for the honeymoon and all, right?
I loved her enthusiasm for working with women of different sizes and shapes and ages and different confidence
Right.
levels, because I feel like, they really sincerely want everybody that comes in there to leave feeling like fantastic and great, and maybe like a little bit spoiled too, because how often do you get to do that?
Yeah, exactly. How often in your life do you get to get your whole bridal service done? And I like the way that they have building your bridal trousseau, right? Your undergarments for your wedding dress, um, your
Mhm.
wedding night set, whatever you want it to be, and your honeymoon. And then I really like the idea of the new beginning undergarments as well, you know.
I think we could all use a new beginning, right?
I know, I know. I think that's what I want. I'm going to go in there and just say, I want the new beginning undergarments.
Oh man, Christine would be so upset if she saw my personal underwear drawer. It'd be bad. It'd be bad. But
I know.
you know what I loved, and I was gonna bring it up, and she actually talked about it, is that they have connections with boudoir photographers, because I feel like that's such, from all the brides that I've talked to who have ever done that, they absolutely went in terrified and ended that session feeling just like absolutely great about themselves. And what a great way to go into your wedding day, feeling like, wow, I look great. I feel great. I think that's just wonderful.
And I know we did speak about it, but I'm going to say it again, that to have proper undergarments under your gown, your bridal gown,
Yep.
um, is so important. You have put money and time into
Yep.
this. You are happy and to go, and your straps are showing, or you have like the silky type gown, and you could see panty lines in it, and you're feeling uncomfortable. I think every woman knows what it's like to kind of feel uncomfortable that the dress isn't covering, or
Yeah.
your undergarments properly, or they don't go with the material that your dress is made out of, and
Mhm.
you're kind of fidgeting, and you know it all night. You want to shine in your pictures. You want to feel good. You don't want to worry about, you don't want to always be fixing that strap, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and it sounds like they have like a long history of, well, she has a long history in the wedding industry, but they've really put some careful thought into the things that they carry in the store, and what's going to be right for each woman in a situation. And yeah, I mean, that's a knowledge that not everybody has. I mean, I don't have it. So
Yeah.
it's good, somebody who knows what is going to make that all feel better for you. I think that's a great thing. I love
Right.
it.
So
I
for
do.
brides, it is just an extension of buying your wedding gown. That's the wedding gown part one, and now the intimates,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
And
and your honeymoon. And truly, if you're going to do the pictures with your bridesmaids, with everybody in the robe or everybody getting ready, and she did say, um, the mothers too.
mhm.
Absolutely, you know?
Well, and you think
Yeah.
about like how many of our brides and our couples, but how many of the getting ready part, some of those pictures they're just adorable.
Uh-huh.
And to have something special for your wedding party to get ready in, and something special for the bride to be getting with the makeup, because there's always pictures of them being made up and
Mhm.
staring lovingly at that dress that's hanging in the window. And it should be, I like the idea that the pictures, the thought of that, the pictures being part of the whole wedding gallery, and not just like whatever you happen to have on that morning.
Right. Yes, yes. And Christine, they just, it's a feel good. It's a feel good,
Yeah.
and I think I just want to tell our listeners, really take a look at their Instagram. The link will be on our
Mm,
Instagram and website too. Take a look at the Instagram. I think it's great how it's very inclusive and all so
yes, it is.
beautiful. It really does. It
Mhm.
makes you want to go in, make your appointment and go
Yeah.
in, tell them you heard about them through New Jersey Wedding Podcast.
Us. Yeah. Well, I think it was interesting too that, for some people, when we were talking to her, and from some of the things that she sent me beforehand, that, for some people, this is maybe their uh, first foray into custom fitted
Mhm.
undergarments. And maybe it's not just for that day. Maybe that becomes a little treat for people after that. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We have a lot of great vendors and interviews
Oh,
coming
yeah,
up,
we
and
do.
Celia and I are also going to talk about different elements in a wedding ceremony. So be sure to click the follow and like and all of that so you don't miss an episode. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now, also New Jersey wedding officiating services. We're up in North Jersey and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.